It's time once again to play with the NHL Draft Lottery Simulator. As the NHL teams are now on their Christmas break, we're going to take a look at the NHL standings, see which teams stand to get the best chance at first overall when we get to the 2024 NHL Draft, and we'll simulate the results based on the standings as of today to see who gets the best shot at getting first overall projected pick, Macklin Celebrini. We'll dig into that coming up next. So welcome back to another video here at Top Shelf Hockey. As I mentioned, today we're going to go on to tankathon.com and play with their NHL Draft Lottery Simulator. We tend to do this here every once in a while on the channel. I did it once earlier in the season, but usually I want to wait till we get a little bit further into the campaign, and then we'll usually run this type of video, anywhere it's from every 2 to 4 weeks, depending on the standings change and whatnot, just to get an idea as the games are played, as the standings change, to see who has the best shot at getting that first overall selection. Obviously, some teams are going to work their way in and out of the mix here as the time goes on, and it's just a fun process to see who has the best chance to get that elusive draft pick. So from here, we're going to go on to the tankathon.com website. We'll hop on the computer. We'll run the simulator to see who wins the first overall pick based on the standings at the Christmas break. And then from there, we're going to conduct a top 10 mock draft to see who those top 10 picks might be based on which teams are in that order as of right now. So we'll certainly jump into that right after we simulate the draft. Okay, so as you can see, we're now officially on the tankathon.com website. This shows the order based on standings, which of course is a reverse order for the best odds at winning the first overall pick in the 2024 NHL draft. So right now, the San Jose Sharks have the best chance. The Chicago Blackhawks not far off. They both currently have 21 points and have a winning percentage well under 400 here. The Anaheim Ducks are in third, followed by Columbus, Ottawa, Buffalo, Seattle, Calgary, Edmonton, and Detroit. They're the only teams who can move up enough spots in order to get that first overall selection. I mean, I know Detroit is not a team that a lot of people probably thought would be in this, but considering they were 2-7-1 in the last 10 games, they find themselves now, 10th from the bottom of the NHL, 22nd overall. So that's certainly not where they'd like to be. The Oilers, I don't expect to be here by the end of the season either, unless things go wrong when it comes to goaltending. Also, teams like Carolina, Pittsburgh, Tampa, and the lottery at all is a little bit surprising. So let's simulate this lottery and see who walks away with the first overall selection based on these standings here at the Christmas break. Oh, there we have it. We have the Buffalo Sabres moving up 5 spots to pick first overall again. I mean, they've had recent first overall picks with Owen Power and Rasmus Dahlin, and now they have a shot at Macklin Celebrini. Now, Seattle also wins the second lottery spot, also moves up 5 spots, and will end up picking number 2. That's also quite surprising. I mean, obviously, the San Jose Sharks, when this is all done for real, obviously have the best chance. I mean, there's a lot of people that think Celebrini has, it's just inevitable he's going to end up in San Jose. There's so many connections between he and his family in that team that it just makes a lot of sense that he would end up there, based on, just how life works sometimes. But the Sabres and Kraken win this lottery simulation. So we'll now jump into my mock draft for the top 10 picks based on this simulated portion of the draft. Selecting first overall, we have the Buffalo Sabres, and right now it's a unanimous choice. They would take Canadian-born Macklin Celebrini. This kid is a pretty dynamic player. You think about the 3 Ds that come to mind when you describe Celebrini: dynamic, dangerous, deceptive. Now playing at Boston University and doing extremely well, putting up 25 points in his first 15 games this year. We're currently on Team Canada for the 2024 World Junior Championship. Had a phenomenal USHL season leading up to before going to BU. Just a dominant kid. I'm not sure he's going to be on the level of a Connor Bedard. I don't think his ceiling is quite that high, but he's still a franchise-altering player. This kid is going to be extremely talented, and any team would be lucky to have him. Buffalo, in this lottery simulation, very lucky to be picking first overall yet again. At number 2 overall, we have the Seattle Kraken with another high pick here, and I'd have them selecting American-born player Cole Yzerman. Yzerman, unfortunately, was not on the 2024 U.S. World Junior team. However, still having a really, really solid campaign this year with the National Team Development Program. He's putting up 45 points so far this year in 23 games. Obviously, part of that NDTP going to BU. Yzerman is a real solid winger. Could be a player who's very complimentary to Matty Beniers. Those two American-born players could make up 2/3 of the top line for a long, long time in Seattle. Cole Yzerman has a lethal shot, has drawn some comparisons to his shooting ability to Austin Matthews. I don't think the whole complete package lines up to be a player like Matthews, but when it comes to his shot and his goal-scoring ability, the similarities are there. So Yzerman could be a real dangerous winger and a deceptive player to add to a line with Matty Beniers, which could be a dynamic duo in Seattle. Picking third overall, we have the San Jose Sharks. I'm dropping 2 spots here because of the draft lottery results, and I have them selecting Russian player Ivan Demidov. Now, Demidov has been in the top 3 consensus rankings here for quite some time. Currently playing in the MHL over in Russia for St. Petersburg. He can play center and wing. Currently has 21 points this year in 15 games, including 10 goals. He is a high-flying winger mostly on the wing with terrific puck skills. He is signed to play in Russia until 2025. So obviously, I like other players like Matvei Michkov. Will make teams wait a little while, but the Sharks are a team who could very well be patient and wait for him to come over, considering where they're at with their rebuild. At 4th overall, we have the Chicago Blackhawks, and I have them taking the top defenseman in the draft here, Artem Levshunov. Now, the big man is playing defense, even though he's Russian. He is obviously playing at Michigan State in the NCAA. Big mobile defenseman with great puck skills is how most scouts would describe this player. He projects to be an offensive type defenseman who has the opportunity and potential to be a top pair, or at least top 4, and a guy who can run your power play. So certainly lots of offensive ability. Certainly a team like Chicago, right now they need a little bit of everything. They'll take the best player available with this pick. And why not get a big mobile defenseman to add to your great group of prospects? Next up at 5th overall, we have the Anaheim Ducks. Now, I have the Ducks selecting defenseman Anton Silyev, another Russian-born player. This guy is absolutely massive, 6'7", 207 pounds, putting up 10 points so far in 42 KHL games this year. This is a player who to me makes a lot of sense for the Ducks. They've got a lot of high-end forwards, including a lot of centermen. They do have some decent prospect defensemen. We saw certainly a bit of a coming out party this year for Pavel Mintnikov. And you know what? Silyev could be a great addition to that. He has the size as well as the ability to play with a high IQ and some offensive skills to boot. I think he'd be a terrific addition to this Ducks prospect pool. Next selection belongs to the Columbus Blue Jackets, and I have them taking Caden Lindstrom, who's obviously can play all 3 forward positions, currently playing in the WHL with the Medicine Hat Tigers. A bit of a player who's risen up the draft rankings early in this season. He's 6'4", 216 pounds, so he already has a big frame and lots of strength, which is great. Versatile in the fact he can play all 3 forward spots. Has 46 points, including 27 goals in the WHL this year in 32 games. So this guy is certainly going to be, in my opinion, a pretty well a lock, I think, to be a top 10 pick with that kind of size, strength, and ability to score. He'd be a terrific addition here for a team like Columbus. At 7th overall, we have the Ottawa Senators. I have them selecting another defenseman here, Sam Dickinson. Sam Dickinson, of course, from the London Knights of the Ontario Hockey League. The Senators have a lot of young talent, and unfortunately, they were not able to make that big step forward this year, at least as of yet, that many people thought they would do. And I think part of the issue is they could stand to have a better decor. I mean, they do have some depth on up front would be an issue as well, especially in the bottom 6. But right now, if they could add another defenseman like Sam Dickinson, I think that would be a huge step forward here in their development. I mean, Sam Dickinson, 6'3", a mobile defenseman, reliable on both ends of the ice with a really good shot. That's what they need. They need some more beef on the back end. Somebody who can play a solid defense and produce a little bit of offense as well. Be basically like a left-handed version of Artem Zub, if not a little bit more physical. So certainly I think he could be a great addition. If the Sens are going to take a step back this year, this is their reward for doing so. Selecting 8th overall, we have the Calgary Flames, and I do think they would take a chance here and draft Tisha Ginla, the son of Jerome Ginla, Flames legend, and certainly one of the greatest players that ever put on the Flames uniform. This guy, to me, may not be ranked in the top 10 right now, but I wouldn't be shocked if he was by the end of the season. I know a lot of places have him probably closer to the 20 to 25 range, but he's got decent size, 6 feet tall, 185 pounds. He can play center or wing. The kid has 25 goals in 32 WHL games this season and a total of 42 points. He's obviously got the DNA of a former, star NHL player for this franchise. I honestly think the Flames would take the chance. I mean, this kid, like I said, may not be ranked high enough. Some people might think this is a crazy pick, but this kid's talented, and I would not be one bit surprised if this ends up happening. At 9th overall, we have the Edmonton Oilers, and I have them selecting Berkeley Catton. Now, Catton was a player who, playing in the WHL, was ranked a little bit higher earlier in the season. Last time we did this, he was up a few spots, but certainly still having a pretty good season overall. He's a very hard-working center with high IQ, good speed and skill. Very, very smart player. Might have one of the highest hockey IQs in this draft currently. I mean, Berkeley Catton doesn't have a lot of size. He's going to need to add a little bit of muscle. He's 5'11", 163. But if he can survive in the tough WHL league and put up those types of points, then I do have confidence he can convert in the NHL, but certainly going to need a little bit of time to add a little bit of size and strength to his frame to translate to success here at the NHL level. But I think it's a prospect well worth waiting on. Very talented kid that would fit well with the Oilers. At 10th overall, we have the Detroit Red Wings, and I have them selecting Adam Jiricek, another defenseman. The Red Wings are a team who's added a lot of talent via the draft and via free agency to their team in the past couple of years, find themselves a little bit more competitive, but still not quite there yet when it comes to securing a playoff spot. If things don't change, then they'll be in this predicament when we do get to the 2024 NHL draft. I think Adam Jiricek could be a nice, steady, stay-at-home type defenseman for them to kind of round things out. They do have a variety of prospects already in different spots here, but I think a D-man makes a lot of sense for them. There are some other ways they could go here, some other good prospects, but I think a player like Jiricek would just be a good stabilizing player for their decor. So those are your top 10 selections. Certainly let me know your thoughts on my picks down below in the comments. Let me know which team as well you think deserves and you want to see win that first overall pick. At this point, it's still a consensus that Macklin Celebrini will be the first overall pick. Where does it make most sense for him to go? And let me know your rationale for that down in the comments, and we'll talk about it further. If you're new to this channel, of course, make sure you subscribe and stick around. We'll keep you up to date with all the news and rumors from around the entire league, and of course, lots of coverage around the 2024 NHL draft and all the top NHL prospects. Thanks very much for watching, and I will catch you next time.